They fired me 23 hours before my $2.8 million bonus was due. Biggest mistake they ever made. I'm Max Sullivan, 47 years old, and I'd been running operations at Apex Steel Manufacturing for 25 years. That Tuesday morning started like any other, except Janet at the front desk couldn't look me in the eye. In the Marines, we called that pre-ambush tension. Your gut knows before your brain catches up. I hadn't even set my coffee down when my phone buzzed. Email from Janet Walsh, HR Director. Urgent meeting, 9:15 a.m. Conference room B subject. Operational restructuring. No body text, no signature. Real professional. Let me paint you the picture here. I just finished 8 straight quarters beating production targets, 8 consecutive wins. We'd landed the Morrison Steel contract 3 weeks ago worth $18 million over 2 years. I built that deal from scratch, flew to Pittsburgh twice on my own dime, and closed it with a handshake in a diner that served coffee strong enough to wake the dead. But when you've worked in corporate America this long, you develop a sixth sense. The way conversations stop when you walk by. The way people suddenly find their shoes fascinating. My spine was telling me something was coming and it wasn't good news. I passed Janet's office on my way to the meeting. Her door was cracked, and she was whispering to someone with that fake sympathy voice she used when she fired the summer interns. Same tone she used when she told Pete from maintenance that his position had been consolidated, which is corporate speak for we gave your job to some kid who'll work for half the money. I took the long way to conference room B. Not because I was nervous, just tactical. Gave myself time to observe the terrain, check who was avoiding eye contact, see which way the wind was blowing, a few guilty looks. Martinez from quality control actually ducked into the supply closet when he saw me coming. That's when I knew for certain what this was about. I stopped by my office and opened the locked filing cabinet. My original contract was sitting right there. 12 pages of legal language, 4 of which I'd renegotiated after we beat targets in Q3 last year. I flipped to Clause 7B and ran my finger over the signatures. Janet's, Brian Pierce's, mine. All still there, clear as day. My insurance policy, my fallback position. My ace in the hole for exactly this kind of corporate backstabbing I was about to walk into. You see, 3 years ago when they wanted me to stay through the company restructuring, I'd written that clause myself. Told Brian it was to protect against operational disruption if I left suddenly. He said, fine. Whatever legal wanted, just get the paperwork done. Kid was 31 then, thought he knew everything because he had an MBA from Wharton, never bothered to read the fine print. I folded those papers, slid them into my leather portfolio, and stood up. Checked my watch, straightened my tie, then walked out of that office knowing it might be the last time. Now, if you're still with me, you're probably wondering how this all blew up in their faces in the most expensive, public, and completely irreversible way possible. Stick around, this gets interesting. When I got to conference room B, the blinds were already drawn. Janet was sitting there stiff as a board with 2 HR reps who looked like they'd just swallowed broken glass. No laptops, no coffee, no performance charts, no discussion materials, just the corporate execution setup. Mac, Janet said with this smile that was trying real hard to look sympathetic. Thanks for coming on short notice. Always got time for the team, I said. Didn't sit down when she gestured to the chair. That's rule 1 from military training. Never give up the high ground. She had a single sheet of paper in front of her. I'd bet my pension it was my termination notice. Janet cleared her throat like she was about to announce my dog had died. I'll get straight to the point. We're restructuring operations and unfortunately, your position is being eliminated effective immediately. This decision is final and has been approved by senior leadership. That meant Brian Pierce, our boy wonder CEO who couldn't run a lemonade stand without consultants. Kid was 34 years old now and thought 25 years of operational experience was something you could Google. I nodded slowly. No drama, no tears, no begging. Just took a breath and said, understood. Janet blinked. Maybe she expected me to fall apart, start arguing, maybe even throw a fit. She didn't know me very well. I'll need your badge and keys, she added almost apologetically. I handed them over with a smile, of course. And just like that, I was no longer director of operations at Apex Steel Manufacturing. Except that wasn't exactly true, not yet. Because what Janet and her Harvard MBA boss didn't realize was that firing me 1 day before my bonus vested didn't save them $208 million. It triggered Clause 7B, which meant they didn't just owe me that money, they owed me double, plus penalties, plus damages if they tried to fight it. But they'd figure that out soon enough. I left conference room B like I was headed to lunch. Calm, collected, like that pink slip was just a receipt from the cafeteria. Janet stayed behind, probably sweating through her blazer, praying I wouldn't make a scene in front of the production crew. Those two HR reps just sat there like mannequins in a discount suit showroom, waiting for their next restructuring assignment. I walked past my office without even glancing at it. They could box my stuff or toss it in the dumpster. Didn't matter. I'd gotten what I came for 3 years ago when I wrote Clause 7B into my contract. Instead of heading for the parking lot, I took the elevator up to legal and compliance on the 4th floor. I'd spent enough time up there during contract negotiations to know who still had some integrity left. The receptionist barely looked up until I dropped my portfolio on her desk. "Tell Arthur Hoffman I'm here," I said. She blinked. "Do you have an appointment?" "I just got fired," I said with a smile. "He'll want to see me." Arthur was the assistant counsel, smart kid fresh out of law school who'd shadowed me during the Morrison deal. I'd told him once that the best lawyers know where the bodies are buried and who did the burying. He remembered that advice. 10 minutes later, I was in his office. He closed the door and gave me that deer-in-headlights look. "Mac, what happened down there?" "They terminated me, effective immediately. No cause cited, no severance discussion, and no mention of my performance bonus that was supposed to vest tomorrow." His eyebrows went up. "Which clause?" I opened the portfolio and handed him the contract. Clause 7B, paragraph 2, subsection A. Arthur read it once, then again slower. His expression didn't change, but his eyes got sharp like a camera coming into focus. "Did you add this during your Q3 renegotiation?" They initialed every page. Brian even asked what the multiplier line meant. I told him it was to cover operational risk if I left. He shrugged. Arthur sat back in his chair and let out a low whistle. "Mac, this clause is bulletproof. If they terminated you within 24 hours of bonus vesting without documented cause, they owe you the full amount plus 50% penalty plus damages if it goes to arbitration." That's what I figured. And it wasn't just Janet. Brian signed off on this. I've got his signature on the implementation memo from December. He knew about the window. Arthur's face was getting paler by the minute. They thought they could avoid paying the bonus by firing you a day early. But this clause activates because of the termination. "Mac, this is going to cause some serious problems upstairs. I'm not here for revenge, Arthur. I'm here for what I earned." He nodded slowly. "You want me to escalate this to Helen Stone? I'd prefer it came from you. You've got relationships I don't, and I'd rather watch this blow up from the inside out instead of hiring some fancy lawyer and making it a circus." Arthur didn't say much after that, just photographed the relevant pages, scanned my documents, and emailed himself the whole packet. As I stood to leave, I said, "Arthur, you don't have to worry about being on the wrong side of this. The wrong side was the one that thought I'd just walk away." I didn't go home, not yet. I had one more stop to make. The executive floor smelled like expensive carpet and bad decisions. Helen Stone, the company's lead counsel, was exactly where I hoped she'd be, in her office reviewing contracts that other people should have read more carefully the first time. Helen was old school, been with the company since before Brian was potty trained. She understood that contracts aren't suggestions, they're promises backed by legal consequences. "Mac," she said, looking up from her computer. "I heard what happened. Arthur just sent me your file." I handed her my portfolio. Clause 7B, original contract, amendments, signatures, everything. She opened it slowly, like it might explode, which, in a way, it was about to. "Jesus. Mac, did they really fire you the day before vesting? 23 hours and 14 minutes, to be exact." I checked my watch. Helen flipped through the pages, found Clause 7B, and read it carefully. Then she read it again. Her face went from professional neutral to deeply concerned to what I can only describe as horrified amusement. "This language is surgical. Who wrote this?" "I did. During my contract renegotiation, told Brian it was to protect against operational disruption if I left suddenly. He said fine, whatever legal wanted." Helen shook her head slowly. "Mac, they don't just owe you $2.8 million. With the penalty multiplier and vesting acceleration, it's closer to $2 million, maybe more. Plus damages if they try to fight it, plus damages." She looked up at me with something that might have been respect. "This is going to ruin Brian's day. That's not my problem." Helen picked up her phone. "It's about to become his problem, though. This needs to go to the board immediately. We're talking about a potential $2 million liability that could have been avoided if someone had just read the contract they signed." She dialed an extension. "Charles? It's Helen. We need an emergency board call." "Yes. Now we have a Clause 7B situation that's going to require immediate attention." 20 minutes later, I was sitting in my truck in the Apex parking lot, watching through the windows as the 4th floor suddenly got very busy. Lots of people hurrying around with serious expressions, phone calls being made, emergency meetings being called. You could practically feel the panic radiating through the glass. My phone rang, unknown number. "Mac Sullivan. Mac, It's Charles Brennan from the board. I knew Charles, old-timer, who'd been on the board since Moses was in diapers. He understood the value of experience and hated waste, especially expensive waste caused by stupidity. Charles, what can I do for you? Did you intend to trigger Clause 7B? I smiled. They fired me. I just made sure I got what I earned. Long pause. I could hear papers shuffling in the background, probably my contract being passed around like evidence at a crime scene. I've read the clause, your documentation. Frankly, it's the cleanest protection I've ever seen in an employment contract. I had good teachers. Brian's claiming it was an oversight. Says he didn't understand the financial implications. He understood enough to sign it twice and push it through legal review without reading it. Another pause. Our CFO just ran the numbers. With penalties and accelerated vesting, you're looking at $422 million. Sounds about right, Mac. Why didn't you negotiate? Ask for a settlement? Most people would have tried to work something out because I didn't need to negotiate. I'd already negotiated 3 years ago. When I wrote that clause, Charles was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that told me everything I needed to know about how this was going to end. They'll try to fight it. They can try. But Arthur's already escalated it to Helen. Helen's already briefed you, and you're calling me instead of your lawyers. That tells me you know how this ends. He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Mac, you always were too smart for this business. Smart enough to read my own contract. The call ended there. I sat in my truck for another hour, watching the Apex building like it was enemy territory, which I guess it was now. Through the windows, I could see people moving around frantically. Lots of suits gathering in what looked like the main conference room. Emergency board meeting, no doubt. My phone buzzed. Text from Mary, my wife. How was work today, honey? I looked up at that building, thought about Brian Pierce sitting in his corner office, probably having the worst day of his career, thought about Janet Walsh trying to figure out how to explain this to the board. Actually, sweetheart, I think I'm going to be changing jobs soon. Oh, did something happen? Let's just say I'm about to have some time to spend with you, and we won't have to worry about your medical bills anymore. Mary had been fighting chronic arthritis for the past 5 years. Good insurance through Apex had been covering most of it, but the copays and specialist visits were adding up. The bonus I was supposed to get would have covered her treatment for the next decade. Now it was going to cover a lot more than that. While I was texting Mary, my phone rang again. This time it was Arthur. Mac, you need to know what's happening up here. All hell is breaking loose. How so? Brian called an emergency meeting with the entire executive team. Janet's in there looking like she's about to throw up. The CFO keeps running calculations on his laptop, and Helen just walked in with a stack of legal precedents that she dropped on the table like a judge's gavel. I could hear voices in the background, muffled but urgent. What are they saying? Brian's trying to claim they can void the clause retroactively. Something about it being an oversight in the contract language. Helen shut that down real quick, told him that ignorance isn't a legal defense and that voiding executed contracts opens them up to even bigger lawsuits. And Janet? Janet's claiming she never fully understood what Clause 7B meant when she approved it. Helen asked her if she's admitting to gross negligence in her fiduciary duties. That shut her up fast. This was getting better by the minute. Arthur, what's your read on this? How do you think it ends, honestly? I think they're going to try to lowball you with a settlement offer, something like half the clause amount, maybe $2 million with a non-disclosure agreement that prevents you from talking about this publicly. And if I say no, then they pay the full $4.2 million and probably fire half the people in that room for letting it happen. I thought about that for a moment. $2 million would still be life-changing money. Mary's medical bills, our retirement, maybe even help our kids with their student loans, but it wasn't what I'd earned, and it sure wasn't what they owed me according to the contract they signed. Arthur, let me ask you something. If you were in my position, what would you do, Mac? I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you that every lawyer in this building knows that clause is airtight. They have no legal grounds to challenge it. The only question is whether you want to take a guaranteed $2 million now or fight for the full $2 million and risk them dragging this out for months. How long could they drag it out with their resources? Maybe 6 months if they really wanted to be vindictive about it. But they'd be paying legal fees the whole time and they'd lose in the end anyway. It would just cost them more money. That's when I realized something important. This wasn't really about the money anymore, not entirely. This was about respect. About whether they thought they could steamroll me because I was just another employee they could discard when convenient. Arthur, tell me something. In your professional opinion, do they respect me? What do you mean? I mean, do they see me as someone who earned this money through 25 years of hard work and smart planning? Or do they see me as some old guy who got lucky with a contract clause? Arthur was quiet for a long moment. Mac, I think they're about to find out the difference. Good answer. When they make their settlement offer, you tell them I said thanks, but no thanks. I'll take what I earned, plus interest for every day they delay payment. Mac, are you sure about this? Arthur, in the Marines we had a saying, the enemy gets a vote. Well, they voted to fire me without reading my contract. Now they get to live with the consequences of that vote. I hung up and started my truck. Time to go home and explain to Mary why we were about to become $4.2 million richer. The next morning, I was drinking coffee on my front porch when my phone buzzed. Email from Helen Stone, subject, settlement offer, Apex Steel Manufacturing. Attachment, payment authorization, $4,247,500. I didn't open the attachment right away, just sat there watching the sunrise, thinking about how 25 years of experience and one well-written clause had just changed everything. Mary came out with her own cup of coffee and sat down beside me. So what happened yesterday? You were pretty quiet at dinner. I showed her the email. She read it twice, then looked at me with those eyes that had seen me through deployments, career changes, and her own health battles. Mac, is this real? Real as it gets, sweetheart. They tried to cheat me out of what I earned, and it backfired spectacularly. What about your job? What about it? I don't need that job anymore. With this money, we can pay off the house, cover all your medical expenses, and I can take my time finding something better. Mary was quiet for a moment, processing what this meant for our future. Are you angry at them? I thought about that question while I watched a cardinal land on our fence post. Was I angry? Not really. Disappointed maybe, but not angry. No, I'm not angry. Anger is what you feel when something unexpected happens. This wasn't unexpected, this was inevitable. They made a choice to value short-term savings over long-term relationships. Now they're paying the price for that choice. 3 weeks later, the consequences started rolling in like dominoes. Brian Pierce was reassigned to a newly created position called Director of Strategic Initiatives, which everyone knew was corporate speak for we can't fire you yet because of your contract, but you'll never make another important decision. His corner office was reassigned to someone who actually knew how to read contracts. Jeanette Walsh resigned to pursue other opportunities, which was HR speak for jumped before she was pushed. Word got around that she'd been updating her LinkedIn profile for weeks before my termination, probably knowing this day was coming. The best part? Apex lost the Morrison Steel contract 2 weeks after I left. Turns out that $18 million deal was built on relationships I'd spent years developing. Brian tried to handle the transition himself, but Morrison's people didn't trust a CEO who fired the guy they'd been working with. They terminated the contract and gave their business to a competitor. So Brian's brilliant cost-saving move ended up costing the company $4.2 million in settlement payments plus $18 million in lost revenue. Not exactly the kind of math they teach at Wharton. As for me, Morrison Steel called me 3 days after the contract cancellation. Mac, this is Jim Morrison. I heard what happened at Apex. News travels fast in this business. It does, and it travels to the right people. We're looking for a new VP of operations, someone with experience, someone who understands that business is built on relationships, not spreadsheets. The offer was better than what I'd been making at Apex. Better title, better benefits, and a signing bonus that showed they actually valued what I brought to the table. I accepted on the spot. My first day at Morrison Steel, Jim introduced me to the management team as the guy who taught Brian Pierce a $422 million lesson about reading contracts. Got a good laugh from everyone in the room. The settlement money paid off Mary's medical bills, secured our retirement, and put our kids through college without debt. But the best part wasn't the money. It was the respect. In my new role, when I speak, people listen. When I write clauses into contracts, people read them carefully. When I give advice about operations, people take notes instead of checking their phones. Funny how $4.2 million can change people's perception of your expertise. 6 months after I left Apex, I ran into Janet Walsh at the grocery store. She was working as a consultant, she said, helping companies with human resources optimization. Corporate speak for helping other companies fire people more efficiently. She asked how I was doing. Can't complain, I said. Morrison Steel's been good to me. I heard about your settlement. That must have been satisfying. I looked at her for a moment, this woman who'd tried to cheat me out of what I'd earned, and realized I didn't feel any satisfaction about her situation, just sadness that it had come to this. Janet, it wasn't about satisfaction, it was about accountability. You made a decision without understanding the consequences. So did Brian. The settlement was just those consequences playing out according to the contract you signed. She nodded, but I could tell she still didn't really understand. Some people never learn that actions have consequences, especially in corporate America, where golden parachutes and severance packages usually cushion the landing. Not this time last month, I heard that Apex Steel was acquired by a larger competitor. The acquisition price was about $30 million less than what the company had been worth before they lost the Morrison contract and paid my settlement. Brian's strategic initiatives apparently weren't strategic enough to prevent the company from becoming someone else's bargain purchase. The new owners kept most of the production staff but cleaned house in management. Turns out that competent operations people are harder to replace than MBAs with corner offices. Listen, if you're watching this and you're in corporate America, let me tell you something important. Your employer is not your friend, they're not your family. They're a business relationship based on mutual benefit. The day you stop benefiting them is the day they'll show you the door, contract or no contract. But here's the thing they don't teach you in business school. Preparation beats politics every time. Read your contracts, understand your rights, document everything. And when they come for you, make sure you're ready, because in the end, the only person looking out for your interests is you. Make sure you're worth the investment.